7 yeas, 5 nays, and the bill HB 466 will be passed favorably to the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Louisiana Republicans just erased the discussion of straight people's existence by passing HB 466 out of committee.
A student raises her hand and says, "I have two mommies." The teacher responds, "That's right, Amy, some families have two moms." Did that teacher just break the law?
The bill prohibits discussion of heterosexuality and pronouns for teachers, meaning that any and all books that mention heterosexual relationships between men and women are illegal, as well as any and all pronouns.
Sexual orientation and gender identity has nothing to do with the education of our kids.
Especially if that sexual orientation is straight. We can't have them indoctrinating our children with their existence of heterosexuality and all of their books of princes and princesses and their heteronormative romances of the damsel in distress being rescued from a tower. We can't have them grooming our children with their straight agenda. I am so glad that they are removing this satanic propaganda of heterosexual orientation and cisgender identity from our schools, because their existence is pushing an agenda onto my kids. I am so glad that Republicans have taken a stand to prohibit discussion of heterosexual orientation and cisgender identity. Wait, what's that? Not straight people's sexual orientation or pronouns? But the bill asserts that any discussion of it is prohibited. Exactly.
Looking at me, do I pose a threat to any of you? Yeah, I hopefully would assume that you do not think I pose a threat, because I'm just a person, just living my life.
Look, I was being a little sarcastic earlier, if you couldn't tell. But it begs the question, why is it only seen as sexual orientation or gender identity when it comes to LGBTQ related topics? Why is it only seen as sexual orientation when it's a same-sex relationship? Or why is it only seen as gender identity when it comes to a trans or a non-binary person?
You cannot shame us out of existence. We exist. You can impact the safety of our existence, and we shouldn't have to beg for our humanity.
To answer your question, it's called selective enforcement. This bill, HB 466, is just one of the latest Don't Say Gay bills that have been weaponized by Republicans, and they're called the Don't Say Gay bills because that is the effective result of selective enforcement of defining what gender identity and sexual orientation is. Let me explain. Take, for example, Mrs. Karen, who mentions that she has a husband in class, and then across the hall, Mr. Dude mentions that he has a husband. According to specifically in this bill, it prohibits discussion of sexual orientation in its entirety. But the effective result is that they only see sexual orientation in regards to the same-sex relationship because they do not see Mrs. Karen mentioning her husband as sexual orientation. It's quite unfortunate that these bills have been masterfully crafted by Republicans in their selective enforcement capabilities to spawn this don't ask, don't tell kind of policy revival that we saw in the past, which are effectively trying to stoke fear of LGBTQ people and trans people's existence into the public in order to spawn us to go back into the closet or hide once again from public. Newsflash, we are not going anywhere. We are so proud of the progress that we've made, our existence. If that makes you uncomfortable, that's your problem. We are going to exist in your schools. We're going to mention our same-sex partner or that we have different pronouns, whether you like it or not. And if you don't like it, tough. Because this is America, and honestly, I am just as American as you, and maybe more if you're trying to restrict my rights and liberties. So maybe consider thinking about that. My name is Scott Johnson. You can find more of me on my YouTube, which is in the description below, as well as my TikTok where I do morning shows. And most importantly, do not forget to smash that subscribe button to the breakdown. Do it whether you're gay, straight, trans, whatever. Be an ally and just be you.